Hi, my name's Penny and today we're going to be putting together the books that I'm planning to read in May. As usual, I am going to use my TBR Machine website, which spits out random reading prompts, and I will use that to pick the books off my physical TBR shelves. Now I've brought you down to my shelves today so that we can look at how I don't actually have that many books left to choose from, which is good because the whole point of this challenge that I set for myself was to try and get my physical TBR shelves down to 0. But it also means that it's going to get harder and harder to actually find books on these shelves that match the reading prompts. So basically the only shelves here that are actually unread is this one, this one, this one, and this one, and this one. And then actually these two over here are ones that I can't read yet. Either I need to read ones over here first, or I need to try and track down other ones from the series in order to kind of unlock these ones. So really we've only got these 3 shelves to choose from. And actually these ones over here are part of a series, so I can't read all of those either. Also in May, just to make things a little bit harder, I am hoping to participate in quite a few readathons. So I thought I would just have a look and decide which books I should be trying to pick to make it easy to meet both my TBR Machine challenge and the readathon challenges. So firstly, I'm hoping to do the Asian readathon, so I want to pick out as many Asian authored books as I can. Now I do know I've got Fire and Shadow, which is a New Zealand self-published book, and I believe the author, oh look, this is signed. I believe the author is at least part Indian, so that is a possibility. And then I do also have The Arrival by Ted Chiang. He is an Asian author, so I could pick that. And then as well, I've got Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. So that's 3 options that would be good for the Asian readathon. As well, I do want to do the Bookemon reading raid, which is happening in May. But for this, I'm not really going to pick books specifically to get points in that readathon. I'm just going to read as much as I can and see how many points I get. For that readathon though, you do get to pick a Pokemon to be your buddy. So I'm going to pick Jolteon, which as an electric Pokemon means that I'll get extra points every time I listen to an audiobook for an hour. Normally I listen to audiobooks while I'm out and walking around, so hopefully this will encourage me not only to get through more audiobooks, but also to go out and get more exercise. Because we can't be spending all our time reading. Another readathon that's happening is the Because We Can readathon. For this one, there's a bunch of challenges, but I think the ones I'm most likely to be able to get off these shelves is a book starting with A. So The Arrival would count for that, as well as counting for the Asian readathon. And I'm pretty sure that's the only book on there that starts with A. Also for that readathon, first book in a series, so there are quite a few here. I've got The Lies of Locke Lamora, which I'd like to get to. Got Red Queen, which I'd like to get to. Oh, I've got Libromancer by Jim Butcher, and I've got Jaren by Kate Elliott. So there's a few first in a series there. And then lastly, the Tome Topple is happening in May. So I'd like to get some big 500-page books through into my TBR, even though that's scary. So I think the best option for that, firstly, The Lies of Locke Lamora is 500 pages. Just 529. I think as well, actually, this Jaren one is like 494, which like close enough, right? Okay, and then as well, I just rearranged this. So I've got The Golden Key, Wizard of the Grove, and The Burning Stone. These are all big chunkers. That would be perfect for the Tome Topple. So ideally I need to be picking from these 2 shelves here. Now it's quite possible that my first prompt isn't going to be able to be picked off my TBR shelves at all, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, so now that we know what we've got to choose from, we're going to actually go for our first prompt. Now normally I pick 3 prompts, but I don't have that many library books at the moment because the libraries are all closed. So I might do more. I might do 5. We'll see how many chunkers I end up picking. So the first prompt is read a book that has won an award. Who's won an award? Have you? Or The Lies of Locke Lamora must have won an award, right? Surely. Let's look it up. So the American Library Association says that The Lies of Locke Lamora won Best Books for Young Adults. I didn't think that it was a young adult novel, so that's weird. But regardless, I'm going to go with The Lies of Locke Lamora for a book that's won an award. I don't know much about this other than a lot of people really love this series, and there's a guy who is a thief, a band of thieves, the Gentleman Bastards, that's the name of the series. So this is the first book for my TBR. Next prompt. Read a memoir or autobiography of someone you admire. I really don't like this prompt. I've had it come up before. These are all fiction books. There's no memoirs. Do I have any other memoirs? I will have a look at finding an audiobook from the library that could meet that. We'll choose a different prompt. Read the shortest book on your TBR. The actual shortest book. What is it? It's the opposite of looking for long ones. Okay, so the shortest one on these shelves is Small Steps by Louis Sacher. So this is the author of Holes. And I believe this is following a character who's in Holes, although it's not exactly a sequel. To be honest, my sister said this isn't very good, but since it was a continuation on from Holes, I just thought I would give it a go, so I've kept it around, and I guess I'll read it in May. Next prompt. Read a book by an author with the same last initial as you. So G. Is there anyone? And once again, there's no books that meet the prompt, so we will try and meet that one with an audiobook or an ebook from the library. Read a book that is based on a true story. No, I don't have any for that either. Okay, another prompt. Read a book that is out of your comfort zone. Okay, because I'm trying to pick books of these bits, I'm going to go with Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng, just because I don't often read contemporaries, and so I guess that's good enough to say this one. Sure, why not? Read a book that will make you happy. I mean, picking any of these will make me happy because I'll be able to get them off my shelves. Okay, I'm going to go with Arrival, just because I've been wanting to read this for a long time. I'd love to watch the movie, but I wanted to read the book first. All I know about this is it's something to do with aliens arriving and then this linguist getting involved with communicating with them, and maybe something weird with time. I don't know, but I'm excited to read it. Okay, one more. Read a book by an author of a book you disliked. Okay, I may end up hating myself for this. But I have to read this book at some point, so I'm going to go with The Golden Key by Melanie Rawn, Jennifer Roberson, and Kate Elliott. Melanie Rawn wrote, what was that series called? The Thorn Lost? I don't think that's what it's called. Anyway, this one series where it was very rambly and I didn't enjoy it. So hopefully this won't be like that, but it is a 1,000 page book, so I'll save it for Tome Topple. I mean, I got it from a thrift shop for $1, and I am excited to read it because I have liked stuff by Melanie Rawn, stuff other than that series that I didn't like. I really love stuff by Jennifer Roberson, and I also really like Kate Elliott, so, I mean, there's a good chance that I'll like this. It's just going to be a lot to get through. It's nice and floppy, though, for this kind of book. Okay, so these are the books that I've picked off my TBR shelves. I mean, it's not that big a pile. The pages on this one are really thin, but we'll ignore that. It's not that bad. As well, though, I do have a few ebooks and audiobooks. So recently, since I can't get any books out of the library, I actually charged up my Kindle. So I have a few books on here to read. Firstly, I have Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng, who I already have a book for in this TBR, but I got the ebook of that because it is the group book for the Asian Readathon. I also have The Cat Who Ate His Tail by Jacqueline Simon Gunn. This is a book with, I believe, a perspective of a cat in it, a book about a cat helping someone improve their life. I got sent the ebook of that and I'm hoping I'll really love it. I always want more cat books in my life, so hopefully. Oh, then I also have a couple of ebooks on my Libby. Too many books to keep track of. So I have The Lady Astronaut of Mars by Mary Robinette Kowal. So this is like the short story that she wrote before she wrote the Lady Astronaut series, but I believe it's set afterwards. Anyway, I got my hand on that short story to read. And I also have a hold that's available soon for the Shiver collection by Junji Ito. So I've been reading a bit of Junji Ito lately. He does all these horror mangas that are very strange and I'm loving them. Laura Pora recommended this collection to me, so I put a hold on the ebook on Libby, and it's saying available soon, so I should be able to read that next month, and that'll count for the Asian readathon as well. Then audiobooks. I have a few, although I'm not sure how many. It's not quite the end of the month yet, so I'm not sure how many I'll actually get through before then. If we take a pessimistic view, I've got A Sprinkle of Sorcery by Michelle Harrison, which is the sequel to A Pinch of Magic, a middle grade fantasy about these three sisters learning about their magical powers. I've also got Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins, so that's the third book in the Hunger Games trilogy, which I've been doing a re-listen of in preparation for the new book coming out in June? July? Who knows? Does anything come out on time anymore? Probably not. I also have a hold on the audiobook of Fool's Errand, which is the first book in the Tawny Man trilogy, which is the third trilogy in the realm of the Elderlings. So I just finished the last book of the Live Ship Traders and I'm super excited to continue the series, so I'm glad to have that on hold. Oh, then I also have the ebook for The Guest List by Lucy Foley. So all I know about this is I assume it's some kind of thriller, and Kayla is reading it for her Literally Dead book club. Since it was in Libby, I decided to get it. I have another ebook that should come through at the end of May, so that is Lock and Key, Heaven and Earth. I actually wanted to read this for the Reading Rush prompt to read a book with a house on the cover, but I couldn't get it in time. But I think it's just a short story told in the world of Lock and Key, one of my most favorite graphic novel series, so I'm excited to get to that. And then lastly, I also have the audiobook of Fragments of the Lost by Megan Miranda, and that is another book for Kayla's Literally Dead book club. Again, I don't normally like thrillery stuff, but it's nice to be a part of these conversations, and since I can get the audiobook, why not? So I think that's everything. How many things is that in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 15 things. So given the amount of things I've been reading recently, that's totally doable. It really just depends what happens with this lockdown and my whole plan for getting a job, which is currently on hold. If I get a job, all bets are off, all TBRs are in the bin. But if I don't, then I think this will be fine. If you've read any of the books that I'm planning to read this month, let me know whether you think I'm going to like them, and check back in later on in May for my wrap-up when we will be able to share our thoughts. Also, if you happen to see any books in this section of my shelves that you think I'm going to really love, let me know. There's not many left anymore, especially once you discount these two shelves. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're having a really wonderful day, keeping yourself safe, and I will see you next time.